Narnia. Narnia dresses, Narnia dresses, Narnia dresses. So as you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a Narnia fan. Don't know what would give away. So it's been a while since I made my own Narnia dresses. I say a while, it's probably been about 6 months, but in my books, it's been a long time. Recently, I've been making a lot of my own designs. I've decided I want to make, and I quote, a casual Narnia dress. And the reason I said that with quotes is because to me, casual means not huge, massive sleeves. Like this. This is not casual. So casual for me just means not huge sleeves. You know, everything in moderation, okay? I got this fabric, where is it? Here it is. I got this fabric from the charity shop for £2.50. What a bargain. And I'm gonna turn it into a dress. Or I say a dress, actually it's going to be a two-piece. I've already lied to you. It's going to be a skirt. Vision, see the vision, okay? A skirt, somehow, and then a pair of stays, basically like a corset. Oh, and a blouse. So with the stays, I want to have an embroidered lion, aka Aslan. So I've actually already started. Let me see. I have started because I'm impatient and I can't wait for anything ever. But the vibe, okay, you see? Do you see the vision? Do you see the vision? Trust, trust, trust. So overall, the vibe is Lucy Pevensie on her day off. She's going for a stroll in the woods. Maybe she's picking some flowers. She's reading a book. She's having a nice time off from her royal duties. This is the vibe we're going for, okay? So slightly more casual than like a coronation gown. We're just gonna go a bit, okay? So come with me to make a casual Narnia inspired dress. Let's go. First things first is the embroidery. Like I said, I had actually already started this, but as it's quite a time-consuming process, it didn't really matter. I didn't use a stencil or a template. I literally just copied a Narnia emblem from a flag I'd seen in the films. I used a stem stitch in a red thread to create strong, bold lines to contrast the yellow of the lion. Next is moving on to the actual construction of the stays. I didn't use a commercial pattern, I just drafted one to my own measurements, and it was loosely inspired by actual stays, but they are by no means historically accurate. There are 5 bodice pieces, which on their own would be pretty flimsy, but I'm going to exhaust them with boning so they're nice and strong. I pinned the pieces together, sewing along the edge of the fabric, and then most importantly, ironed my seams flat. Seriously, if you take anything from this video, iron your seams. It is literally so important. Next was to start the mammoth task of sewing the boning channels. You'll see in a moment, but I seriously underestimated how long this was going to take. In of itself, it's a pretty simple process, just sewing lots of parallel lines. But when I say lots, I mean lots. So I'm currently sewing the boning channels for the bodice. Tell me why I forgot how long this was gonna take. I'm not even like, am I halfway through? Maybe I'm a little bit over halfway through. And it's just taking ages. Like, it's actually just taking me so long. Ah! Oh! Okay, sorry, I just had to pull a pin out of my toe. It's fine. That wasn't that bad. Didn't go that far in. Anyway, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We are getting somewhere. I don't know if you can even see. Oh yeah, you can see, look. We've done bits. We've still got more to do. You can kind of see it there a little bit. But I can't actually do it all because I need to finish the ends first before I can do them there. I can do some here and here and here. So we'll get there. When that was over, we were nowhere near done, and I had to take a break for a day from the insanity of sewing a million parallel lines. I switched to some hand sewing by working on the tabards that would sit along the bottom of the stays. They were pretty simple, but time consuming. They were just rectangles of fabric sewn and turned inside out, then ironed. I wanted more gold accents, so I hand stitched some gold ribbons along the edge. To be honest, it also took a very long time, although I do love how they turned out. This next bit was probably the trickiest. I made the lining alongside the outer bodice, but actually sewing them together was not that easy. I had to sandwich the tabs in between, so it was a lot of trial and error with the placement. Okay, now remember all those boning channels I was sewing earlier? Yep, those ones. Well, now I've got to actually add the boning.
So yeah, this took forever. I use plastic boning just because it's cheap and lightweight, but steel boning is definitely the higher quality alternative. Now, eyelets. I didn't actually film this, but it was starting to look like something we could wear. I went with gold eyelets, of course, so it would match the other gold accents, and just used my hand tools I already had, including my favourite block of wood and my hammer. I needed to finish off the rough top edge, so I used some bias tape I already had. I sewed along the top edge and hand stitched the inside for a nice clean finish.
So we have a bodice, or most of a bodice. I really hit a slump yesterday. I felt like I was making no progress. The boning, oh my goodness, took so long. I'm not even joking. But it's fine, we got there in the end. We're getting somewhere. Okay, are you ready? This is the bodice so far. So I say so far because I'm probably gonna add straps. I'm loving how this is looking. I love the little tabs, the embroidery. I am obviously going to wear this with like a blouse underneath and you won't be able to see my bra top, but I'm at a crossroads and I don't know what to do. I've asked Instagram for help. We'll see what they say. The skirts. So this is the skirt we were going with. Now I knew using secondhand fabric obviously meant I wasn't going to have a lot of fabric to work with, and I didn't, and I knew that the depth wouldn't be as much as I wanted it to be. I'm going to put it over because I can't put it under for now, I just can't do it. It's really A-line, and that's not necessarily a problem, there's nothing wrong with an A-line skirt, but it's just not as full as I would want a skirt to be. I thought, okay, so what if I layer it with this petticoat which I made for my Jude dress, which is much bigger and fuller and would make the shape much bigger and fuller. But I don't know, because the whole point of the dress was like to be a casual Narnia dress, but you know, something you're just wearing, wandering through the woods, and I was like, is this too much? Is it too much like a ball gown? I can't decide what to do, basically. I'm gonna make that decision and come back to you.
So you can probably see how indecisive I was being, but I really went back and forth with the skirts. I really couldn't decide if I should just have the red skirt on its own, staying a bit more true to the casual intent of the dress, or layering it with the gold petticoat. Having finished the dress, it seems obvious to me that the gold skirt looks a million times better. However, I was just really unsure. But the red skirt was just way too A-line, which was the result of very limited fabric. I did an Instagram poll so I could feel validated in layering the gold skirt, and everyone really pulled through on that vote, so thank you. Making the skirt itself was really simple. The red skirt is comprised of 4 panels cut in a trapezium shape, pinned along sides together and sewn. I used French seams because they're literally the love of my life and make for a strong and neat seam. I made a waistband by ironing a rectangle of fabric in 2. I machine stitched the top of the skirt and hand stitched the inside so it was nice and neat. The skirt really easily closes at the front with a clasp. Now, onto the blouse. So I used this slippery organza fabric I salvaged from an old curtain for this bodice. I could not get this exact vision of a puffy sleeve out of my head, and to be honest, this fabric was perfect for it. I considered chiffon, but with this organza being a slightly stiffer fabric, it held its shape a bit better. It's literally made up of 4 rectangles sewn with some elastic, so it's pretty beginner friendly. Again, I used French seams on the bodice. It's a bit more important here because the fabric is sheer, so by doing a French seam, it is very neat. Since you can see that from the outside, that's quite important. I'm genuinely really pleased with how this blouse came out. The sleeves are genuinely perfect. You can't really tell when it's laying flat on the floor. I sort of have to play around with where the elastic sits in my arms, but the poof is literally just perfect. It's everything I wanted. The sleeves themselves are quite big. That's what allows them to have that much depth, but genuinely making it was super simple. To thread the elastic, I used a safety pin, which is probably one of my favourite tips of all time. I'm really pleased and I can't wait for you to see the final dress. All the pieces coming together. Okay, momentarily switching back to the stays for a minute. Where we left off, I hadn't actually made the strap, so I needed to do that. They were pretty simple, literally just like rectangles of fabric. They were rounded at the edges just because I thought it complemented where it was rounded on the bodice itself. I then added eyelets. They attached to the bodice itself really simply with ribbon that laces through the eyelets. I like to add a little bow, and voila, some stays ready to be worn. Overall, I am in love with how this dress turned out. Slightly less casual than the original intent, but I love it nonetheless. I'm just obsessed with how this turned out, and I really hope you like it too. I actually feel like it's a pretty good time to get round to finally editing and posting this video, since there's just been some behind the scenes footage of the new Magician's Nephew film. Honestly, I'm really excited because I love Greta Gerwig and I love Narnia, but I'm also really nervous to see what this new adaptation's like. I have faith considering the 2019 Little Women, but I don't know, what do you think? I can't wait to see the costumes. Let me know what you think of this dress, and more importantly, let me know what you think I should make next. Also, what videos you want to see. I'm really up for posting anything. I quite like showing you the process of making this dress. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you next time. And remember, keep sewing!